Now, drawing shapes should be reasonably straightforward once you've got the Lewis diagram, or you may actually be given it and asked to actually just draw the actual shape. In this case, we've got carbon dioxide. There's a double bond on either side, so each of these counts as just one region of electron density, even though each consists of 4 electrons. So there's only 2 regions. That gives a bond angle of 180 degrees, and the shape for this would be linear. Now when you're drawing the shape, you are just showing how the atoms are connected in space. You are not showing lone pairs of electrons. You are not showing double or triple bonds. This is the shape here. Okay, that's for linear. Now this is H2O. It has 4 regions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 bonding, 2 non-bonding pairs of electrons. That gives a bond angle of approximately 109 degrees, and the shape is considered to be bent. It's based on a tetrahedron, but because 2 pairs are bonding, it actually is bent. How do you draw this shape then? Well, you just do an O, H, so you're just showing it being bent. Now when you do these lines like this, that just means it's in the plane of the page. Okay, it'll make more sense once we move on. Now in this case, we have an atom, boron, which has got 3 bonding pairs around it, and that's it. Remember, boron is an exception. It can only fit 3 atoms around it. It doesn't need to obey the octet rule and have 8 electrons. It only has 6, and it's because of its size of boron that it can only fit 3 around it, so it's an exception to the octet rule. But in terms of shape, we're only interested in drawing the central atom and how the other atoms are arranged around it. In this one, methanol, we have a carbon with a double bond to the oxygen and 2 single bonds to the hydrogen. That's still just 3 regions, 1, 2, 3. So in each case we draw them in a similar way. So B, because the bond angle will be 120 degrees. That's because 360 divided by 3. Now notice I don't draw the double bond for the oxygen. This is just trying to show the shape in space, which is why I deliberately drew this one for the Lewis diagram to show that it looks like a T, but this is a Lewis diagram. Lewis diagrams aren't necessarily designed to show the shape. Okay, but when you're asked to draw it, this is how we draw it. Now in this case, we've got 1, 2, 3 regions, but there's a 1 non-bonding pair. That's this pair here around the central atom. So this shape is still bent, but if we're asked to draw the shape, don't show the double bond, we just show it as being bent. Now the bond angle for this is going to be 120 degrees. Now this molecule here, ammonia, has got 1, 2, 3 bonding pairs and 1 non-bonding pair. That means this is based on a tetrahedral shape, but the actual shape is trigonal pyramid. So it's a okay, and that's based on a tetrahedron though. So the bond angle here is approximately 109 degrees as well. So how do we draw that shape? Well, you've got to show some 3D. So now if I do an arrow like that, that means in the plane. This thick line means it's actually supposed to be the hydrogen coming out towards you. And this one going back, which I'll just do in a kind of dashed way, that's supposed to mean going back into the plane. I've done that hydrogen a bit too far over. Now, It doesn't have to be perfect, they're not expecting perfection, but it's an attempt to show a three-dimensional structure, and that's a trigonal pyramid. Now this structure here has got 4 sets of electrons around the central atom, and they're all bonding. This would make this a tetrahedron shape, or tetrahedral shape rather. And the bond angle here is approximately 109 degrees. So how do we do that? Well, we have the central atom. Now I'm trying to show this as not being a 90 degree angle, that would be marked incorrect. I'm trying to show this as coming out towards you, and this as going back into the page. I'm trying to show that shape, and that would be a tetrahedral shape. Now this covers all the shapes that you really need. Obviously you can have different atoms or groups attached to that central atom. Okay, and that's drawing shapes in level 12.